Hey ladies and gentlemen, Corey Kelly here, founder and creator of the Transitioning into Tech Facebook group, and today I wanted to talk to you about the power and importance of katas. Now what you see on the screen here is a kata. This is a series of deliberate moves that martial artists put themselves through to teach their body how to be comfortable and confident doing martial arts. And so you'll see each position is specifically labeled. And what these martial artists will do is they'll go through these positions each day. And each day that they do this kata, their body becomes more and more comfortable and confident in these moves. So when you see a martial artist and you think, wow, that is so impressive, the way they move their body is so impressive, I could never move my body that way. Well, you could, if you put in the time and the practice to get comfortable and confident in those positions. When they do these, they build muscle memory in their bodies, and their bodies become more confident in these positions, and they're able to go through them pretty quickly, day in and day out. And so you might be wondering, hey, Corey, how did this martial artist stuff, how does this relate to coding? Well, technologists have actually adopted the coding kata principle. And so I don't know however many times, maybe this hasn't happened for you, but in the past there might have been times where I wasn't that comfortable with the IDE that I was using to develop code, or maybe in the terminal I'm not that comfortable with the commands yet, and I'm very slow and I can't navigate. Maybe you know the feeling when your boss is over your shoulder perhaps, or there's someone watching you and you're trying to navigate your computer and type commands, and your hands maybe are trembling and they don't feel that confident. All this to say, you can train your body in the same way as a technologist, and it involves doing coding katas, or bash scripting katas, or command line katas. And let me just give you a brief example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up IntelliJ IDE, and I'm going to write a simple Hello World application using nothing but the keyboard. And this is my kata challenge for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command N. I want to create a new Java class. I'm going to call it Hello World. I'm going to hit Command Write because I'm on a Mac. Enter PSVM, which is IntelliJ's shortcode for the main method declaration. Sout, which is the shortcode for a print statement. And Hello World. And then I'm going to hit Shift Control R. You'll see that in the bottom it's building and it printed Hello World. So this was a really simplified example of what you could do with a coding kata each day. Maybe you've never opened an IDE and you're not that confident typing code. Maybe you don't understand the code that I just wrote. You can still get started. You can teach your body that you're a technologist. You can teach your body that you're a developer by doing these things. Memorize this code. Memorize the ways of interacting with your IDE. There's so many shortcodes. Great developers can navigate the IDE very quickly, very efficiently, and they don't really have to use a mouse, right? There's so many ways that you could, let's pop in here for instance. You can navigate back and forth. You can do shortcodes to search files if you wanted to find the duck class. There's all sorts of things and all sorts of shortcodes. So think about coding katas. One way you can get really good at them is you can print out a sheet of all of these shortcodes. Let's say you're using IntelliJ, for instance, and you want to get really good at coding katas. Print out a cheat sheet for all the shortcut keys. I did this once, and I laminated it. That's pretty old school. And I would set it in front of me when I would start these katas. And I would look and say, okay, how do I do this without the mouse? And it'll feel really uncomfortable and clunky at first, but like I said, it'll teach your body to be able to handle writing code under pressure. So this will help you in a couple of ways. Number one, it'll make you a more efficient programmer. Number two, it'll help you understand the code that you're writing, especially if it's complicated and you don't really understand what's going on. It'll cause you to memorize that. Number three, and probably most important, is it'll help you on your interviews. If you're doing a tech interview and you feel really confident in your body and with your hands and typing code during the technical portion, that's going to come across. That's going to be noticed by the interviewer. There was an example where I was prepping for an interview, and every morning I would code 5 different sorting algorithms in Java. And it would take me about 17 minutes. I would just sit down and I would crank it out, and each day I would try to get a little bit faster. And I had an interview one time, and I remember they asked me a modification to one of those sorting algorithms. And I was able to just crank that sorting algorithm out because I had it memorized and I knew how to navigate the keys, and it was just really beautiful, and it really helped my interview. So think about some coding katas that you could potentially start working on today. Maybe they're very simple, just like the Hello World example that I just gave you. Maybe you're trying to learn Linux shell or command line tools. Maybe every day you wake up and you create a new file using the command line, and then maybe you move that file somewhere. So you're learning these different commands and these different ways of interacting with the computer, but it starts in your body. A lot of times it starts in your body and your mind will follow. So even if you don't know code, I encourage you to download an IDE of your choice and start to get comfortable with it. Start to teach your body that you are a technologist. I hope this was helpful to you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Share this with friends if you think it would be beneficial, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye-bye.